Hello, and welcome to the Geekatorium, a weekly podcast where we talk all things in the world of geek, whether that be movies, TV shows, or video games. The podcast is hosted by Rick Carranza and myself, Matt Blair, and this week we had so much to talk about. There was the Snowpiercer TV series, the PlayStation 5 announcement, the Bill and Ted 3 trailer, and Rick losing his temper at the Matrix franchise like it was somehow responsible for the death of his horse in Red Dead 2. Now, what you're about to hear is a small clip from the podcast where we discuss rumours surrounding the future of DC and Marvel movies that are currently in the works. And before we get started, please give this video a like. It helps us get seen and through the gatekeeper known only as the mighty algorithm. Please also check out our Patreon in the description below and find out what perks you can get as a subscriber. And that's enough from me. Let's listen to the clip.
You know what? DC is the underdog. Let's talk about DC first.
So DC, there is a rumour that the new Batman trilogy that's being sort of started, ignited by Matt Reeves making his The Batman, there is a rumour that they are going to be casting another new Joker. This means now that we'll have had as many Jokers in the last 5 years as we've had Prime Ministers.
And to be fair, they've been as effective.
It's getting a little bit messy. I mean, I hope that Joker is a standalone. They don't make any more of those. I don't think they need to make any more of those. Leave that alone. We've already, I think, come to terms with the fact that this version of the Batman is nothing to do with Justice League, Man of Steel. This is a new trilogy, a new thing.
So I think this is where DC could have its strength. The DC EU, the DC movie universe. Yeah. I think this is where it could be strong. I think actually by exploring one-shot stories as opposed to actually trying to build a universe.
It seems that comic book movies are now starting to lean into what make comic books so good, is because you've got all these alternate universes and elseworlds and different takes on like what if scenarios. I mean, Marvel itself has an entire what if series in the comics, and they're going to do a what if animated series on Disney Plus. But I think it's quite cool that if movies start to do this as well. So it might not get messy. If they do it well, it can be... You know how angry I got at Ridley Scott? You know how angry I got about how I did say... I actually used the phrase, and I hate myself for actually using this phrase, saying he ruined the mythology of the Alien franchise and all that. Yeah. But I can actually get over it if I look at it in... Like, there are so many... different what if scenarios with the Alien series in comic book form, you know, because you've got not just Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Batman, Alien versus RoboCop, Alien versus Terminator, Alien versus Dread, and none of them are canon. And that's the thing, you can tell stories that don't have to be part of canon.
It's something that's yet to be leaned on, but you know, with the late, you've got some stuff here about the Marvels movies. Yeah,
this is crazy. So apparently, the rumor for Marvel is that Secret Wars will be the next big thing. So, like the Infinity Saga was the last few phases of the MCU, the next few phases will be building up to Secret Wars. Now
they've already touched on the multiverse.
They have. I mean, they've touched on it a little in Endgame, and it felt like they were touching on it a lot more in Spider-Man: Far From Home. But then that turned out to be a ruse. But at the same time, dangling enough there so that when the multiverse is revealed, it's less of a
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which will be directed by Sam Raimi. I mean, blimey, that's absolute craziness. I love it. Now, the thing that they have talked about, because with Secret Wars, they're saying that with the multiverse, they might bring in Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Now, I imagine there would just be a blink and you miss it cameo sort of thing, like when Loki would turn into Captain America. So that would be like Chris Evans doing a cameo. I think it might be something like that, where like Ben Affleck in the Daredevil costume is like going, "What's that?" And then that's it. You know, it would be just like one little clip of him doing that.
I hope not.
You hope not?
I hope he gets more. I like Ben Affleck, right? I do. Yeah, no. I thought Batfleck was ace.
Batfleck was ace.
Right? And I genuinely think a lot of, like, especially when it comes to superhero stuff, he's been let down by the script that he's had to work with versus what his actual ability is. I think he was great as Batfleck. I just think he was in a bad movie.
Thanks for listening. The link for the full podcast and all of our social media can be found in the description below, alongside our Patreon page too. Join us again next week for more Geekatorium.